So, this is actually going to be our first year that our family won't be going to Hawaii because of COVID-19. Usually we don't go because we can't afford it. Anyway, hello everybody and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast version 2, episode 19. Yay! What do you mean,
Yay.
Jesus? Ah.
The joke, man. The joke.
Well, you see, the thing is, right, I will say this right now, that after last week, the floodgates have kind of opened on the front runner joke. All I can say is that a number of people have been sending in to me various jokes of the dad variety, and they shall all be collectively known as the enabler, so that their identities are hidden. So there you go. From the wrath of Barnard and Moon and McManus. So
we will find you.
Yeah, but it's like the assassins from Assassin's Creed. You don't know who they are. They're just out there, silent, running amongst you. Who are or is the enabler? There you go. The enabler. They're enabling me. And then on top of that, I found, this might also count as my week, but I found a Reddit full of dad jokes. It's like the mother load, and it's updating literally by the minute.
God, there's no stopping him.
There is no stopping me. Anyway. So, hello everyone, and thank you, Enabler. You know who you are. Hello everyone. Welcome to episode 19 of the Black Dog Podcast version 2. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim. And I'm Elton.
And this week we'll be seeing how everyone's week's been. And we will also be doing the usual sort of like, if there's any feedback. I don't think there is this week for last week's episode. Yes, we'll be going on to this week's movie, which is Elton's pick, which is, it may get, the discussion may get as confusing as the film, I suspect, but we'll see. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have any shares in Bako foil or tinfoil hats, now's the time to cash him in, because fuck me, the tinfoil hats are going to come out tonight, I suspect. Anyway, yes, so we'll be doing the movie Coherence, which currently features on Amazon Prime. But anyway, before we get to that, let's see how everyone's week's been. I forgot to ask if anyone's actually got anything going on in their week before we started recording. So, hey, let's just see how it goes, eh? So, Jim, over to you, sir. How's your week been, sir?
Relatively quiet, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sat at home, being very good, and not being tempted by various sales on electronic equipment. There seems to be quite a few at the minute. It's kind of,
yep.
You know how something's always watching and listening. It keeps popping up going, there's a sale on there, half price for that synthesizer. No, I've got enough. I don't have room.
Your house is starting to look like Rick Wakeman's basement.
It's not that bad. I need to move some books to make some more room. Get a bigger desk, maybe. It's one thing to have these things, but if you can't plug them in and use them, that's a problem. So I've been very good instead. I've been staying at home, and mainly actually been sort of binge listening in large chunks, to the point I nearly was late for tonight because I didn't put tea on. Me and Teresa have been listening to the Audible audio adaptation of the Sandman.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Isn't it good?
It's really good. It's really, really good. Narrated by Neil Gaiman himself, and they've done a fantastic job with the casting and the adaptation. It is kind of, you could just get the comics out and they pretty much read it to you, and not just read it, but perform it for you.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Really enjoying it. I was very excited. I thought, will this work? But it's Dirk Maggs who's got a proven track record at bringing this kind of stuff to life, and I do heartily recommend it to anyone. It works really well. It gets the creepiness, it gets the humour, it gets the magic, and I saw Neil Gaiman years ago doing a reading from his then current just out book, Nancy's Boys. And I'm really pleased he actually found the time in his schedule to sit and do this audio adaptation, because who better to read it than the author himself, and especially when you've got an author who can actually read aloud, which a lot of people think they can do, but a lot of people actually can't.
Yes,
because it is a performance skill, but he can do it just perfectly, having wrote it. It's been an absolute joy to listen to.
Yeah.
Though it is a bit of a black holding, because like 10 minutes. Oh no, that was actually an hour and a half, and I should have put the chicken on. Bollocks.
Yeah, and James McAvoy as Morpheus is brilliant, I thought.
Yes, spot on, absolutely spot on. To the point I knew he was in it, but then when I was listening, I'd forgotten it was him.
Yeah,
in that weird way, if you know what I mean. He doesn't sound like he normally does, but McAvoy is such a good performer, though. He's shaping up to be one of the great actors of our generation, I think. And I don't really go in for hyperbole often, but in this case, I think he's one of those kind of, very, very talented man who's going to have a very, very long career indeed.
To be quite honest, he's already had pretty good career, isn't he? But
well, that's it, and he's still only a young whippersnapper, really.
Yeah, it's superb. No, I have to say I highly recommend it. It's really, quite something. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. Cool,
very impressive. Other than that, on the small screen front, we have a bit of a Timothy Dalton double bill.
Oh
kind of accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
I finally got around to watching the new Doom Patrol TV series.
Oh, yes.
Which I really enjoyed. I hope there's going to be some more. Don't do a Swamp Thing on us, please. Do a good series, then just decide, no, we won't do any more because we're shit. That'll be annoying. But then after that, we kind of get into another TV show. Like, I know, I had it kicking around for ages, and people have been asking me, have you watched it? I watched it. Finally doing it like 6 years later. Penny Dreadful. But it's Dalton again. But that's
Jim,
not a bad thing.
Jim, did you watch both seasons of the Doom Patrol or just one?
I've just watched the one so far.
Right, okay. I was going to say, because just in case you didn't know, there is actually another season out there at the minute. So season 3 is going to be incoming, I think, as well.
Ooh.
So
it is available through, shall we say, various areas of the internet currently.
Well, that's me sorted for the next couple of weeks then.
Yes. So,
yeah,
cool.
So currently, we're very much Neil Gaiman is God and is Timothy Dalton in this house currently.
Awesome. Anything else, sir?
I'll leave it at that, I think.
Brilliant. Okie dokie then. Over to you, Elton. How about you? How's your week been?
Well, I have seen something and I have found something.
Okay.
What would you like to learn about first?
Well, I don't know. A dealer's choice. Over to you, sir. You pick it.
I have seen something, and I watched Venom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it came on Netflix. I think it was this week.
It did.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've been wanting to watch it for a while. You know my history on superheroes and stuff like that, but this isn't, I don't think this is a superhero thing. This is more a protagonist.
It's an anti-hero type.
Yeah.
That's what he is these days anyway.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah?
I really did, yeah. To the point where I might watch it again very soon.
It's interesting because last week when we did Upgrade, there's a lot of parallels between Upgrade and this, and Venom, I thought.
Yeah, very much so.
And especially considering Marshall Logan Green went for the role that Tom Hardy eventually got in Venom, and then because of it ended up in Upgrade. It's kind of interesting. It's one of those kind of two asteroid films at the same time, two Ants movies at the same time, and then So wow, so this is your superhero cherry then, I guess. Is it the first one that you've actually liked?
No, I liked. Oh, what was it? Not the Fantastic Four. Jeez, no. Oh, the
Avengers?
X-Men. The X-Men was that? That was one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The newish one.
No, First Class.
That's it. Yes.
Oh, no,
really liked that. I always liked Spider-Man for some reason, but I haven't seen the new stuff of that.
Oh.
I always liked Batman as well.
Mm.
But this was... I was quite surprised. I thought I'd be sticking it on and going, oh, what utter tosh. What a load of rubbish. What shit. Oh, his accent is terrible. But do you know what? I was clearly in a good mood and just was like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's go for it. And just let it wash over me. I had fun with it. So, yeah, I would recommend it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, and I know Tom Hardy doing accents sometimes rubs people up the wrong way. But you know what? I thought it was all right.
Okay. There you go. I mean, I did have a lot of fun with it when I watched it. It's not anywhere near the top of my tree for superhero flicks or anything like that. And there's a couple of really dodgy pieces of CGI, to say the least. But
when he stood on a bridge.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
It's terrible.
I could have done better than that.
Yeah. But there's various bits which I guess, looking back at Upgrade, have got a very similar sort of thing of that whole "let me take over, Eddie," sort of thing, and then suddenly there's tentacles flying out of him and blokes flailing all over the building and smashing them all into windows and whatnot.
Do you know what? I didn't even think about Upgrade when I was watching this. I just thought, I'm quite enjoying this. I was surprised that I was enjoying it, but now you're saying that, I'm like, yeah. Kind of the same film, isn't it?
It is kind of almost identical in terms of just the whole premise of, except in terms of Venom can move between people, can't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea that let me take control and I'll do the rest, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's good. Well, great. So you're going to watch it again, you say?
I don't know what to watch now, Upgrade or Venom now. I clearly need something like that in my life where I've found a kind of genre of body manipulation takeover type thing.
Oh.
And kind of want to watch that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Answers on your postcard too. Dr. Freud. Yeah. No, cool. Well, I mean, I don't know many films like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Body manipulation. I suppose in a weird ass sort of way, Inner Space has it.
Oh, it does, yeah. Doesn't it?
Yeah, with Tuck Pendleton sort of saying, "Go on, Jack, go on, you can do it. You can go and beat this guy up." And he's saying, "I'm feeling really excited." He's going, "That's because I'm stimulating your adrenal glands," sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Inner. I'm worried about watching Inner Space. Now we're on like Black Dog Part 2. I'm looking at films I'm putting on my list and going, I want to put that on there, but I don't want to find out that it's shit.
Well,
because when we did The Last Boy Scout, I was glad it was on there, but it's shit.
Yeah.
But I always remember it being good.
I know.
Inner Space was one. Point Break as well. I'm worried about watching that because I know it's going to be shit.
Well, to be quite honest, I never liked Point Break, so that's...
I'll tell you what, you've never really watched Point Break unless you've watched it with the actual volume turned right down to nothing. Which I did in a pub on New Year's Eve one year. I watched the whole thing, just watching the stuff on screen, trying to make up the story as it went along.
But why?
Because it was just that was it. That's what I could see from where I was sitting.
Oh,
and
right.
In the early 2000s did that, didn't they?
Yeah, that whole stick a film on telly and just leave it playing over and over again. I always remember that. What was that? The Ben Crouch's pub.
The Ben Crouch's, yeah.
They always had the original F.W. Murnau Nosferatu playing on a constant loop.
Yep. Was it Metropolis as well? It was all the old black and white horror movies.
Yeah.
That was the kind of the theme there.
Yeah. Oh, and the James Whale, what is it, Frankenstein? I just remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That was Never ever saw them with the sound on, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were silent movies, most of them, weren't they? So
exactly.
Weren't missing much.
No. So you're so this is it now. You're into your body modification movies then. Body takeover movies.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Ooh, okay, maybe we'll have to
Existence, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, there's that. Hang on. I'm going to Google it now.
Thinking about it, District 9, that's a similar sort of thing as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep. Transcendence, which is terrible, but it's there. which is Johnny Depp as a CGI lump. I don't know.
I probably missed that for a reason.
Altered Carbon,
I
the TV show Altered Carbon.
No, I didn't like that.
No? Okay.
No, I couldn't get into that.
Okay. Okay. Well,
and plus they've cancelled it now as well, haven't they?
Well, yeah. Two seasons is usually sort of Netflix's top tier, isn't it? Unless someone else has already made 3 before.
They're not making any more money after 3 seasons, are they?
No, that's it. Maybe if anybody has another one, wants to suggest it for Elton, movies where you're taken over and you're being controlled. Go for it. Elysium, that was the one I was trying to think of. The Matt Damon one with Matt Damon.
Upload response.
Yeah, but that one. Oh God. Are we going to end up going to do Team America at some point?
We'll have to.
That will go down well.
Oh God, yeah, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know, I've never seen it, but I've seen bits of it. So
You've never? Oh, okay.
Not all the way through, no.
I think that might have to go on the list somewhere then. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing, I found a holy grail this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what was that?
Yes. Well, I've been through all my stuff that my mum and dad had kept in their house for me for years and years and years. Mm-hmm. And I remember a couple of years ago, we did the final clean out of the loft. Or what I thought was the final clean out of the loft. Because my mum was curious as to what is still up there. And there is a little bit of crap up there, but we got rid of half of it this weekend. But I went up there and I found a plastic bag. And it was stuffed behind a big plastic bag. And I thought, okay, this is the old Hoover in this plastic bag. Well, that's just all going to be Hoover stuff over there. And I shifted some of it. I thought, no, I'm going to have a little look. I moved this bag, and this little green corner of a box popped out of this bag. I thought, I recognise that. What is this? What could it be? And I reached in further, pulled out the box, and lo and behold, I found a big bag of Subutio.
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
This is from the 1990s. And my brother used to play it a lot more than I did. But we have teams, we have stadiums, we have scorecards. We've even got my brother's, he built like a little Premier League table thing where he could put his teams on, and he's still got all of his old scores written down on it. It looks amazing. But,
oh, my God.
Yeah, proper holy grail stuff of full on, nothing broken, apart from maybe a goalie. He's a bit wonky and like lost an arm, etc. But they all did. But yeah, about 10 teams, everything in almost pristine condition, all ready to go.
Did anybody actually know how to play Subutio?
That was going to be my next question.
Because, it's like, hey, look, things we flick. How the fuck do we play this?
I don't know. I don't know how to play it. It comes with the instructions, though. My brother said it's like 2 flicks and then it's the next person's. I thought,
euphemism.
Flick in you go.
Thank you, Jim. You're on the ball today, my friend. There you go. The man's on fire. Yeah. Nice. So, 2 flicks, eh?
Yeah, 2 flicks, then pass it on.
2 flicks and a reach around.
Yeah. The the 1970s party scene. 2 flicks and pass it on.
It's like pass the parcel, isn't it? When the music stops. Any minute now.
Dorothy? What are you doing here? Anyway.
So, yeah, we didn't sit down and play Subbuteo, but it was... I couldn't believe it was up there.
Nice.
I was desperately hoping my Amiga 500 was up there, but even though I know it's not up there, and I keep looking for it, hoping that it might turn up one day, but it's definitely not up there anymore.
No. Darren might still have an A1200 if you want it.
I've got that in the it's a super duper version as well. Yeah,
14 megahertz co-processor, my friend.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Not any
with
old shit.
Was it with a whole meg's worth of memory?
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
See,
super zippy fast.
Yeah. I might have sold it to him.
He did.
I did sell it to him. Cool. Okay. So when's the Subbuteo League starting then, and when's it going to turn up on your YouTube channel?
That'll be September, and everyone's invited around my new house for prawn sandwiches and kebabs.
Have you got the magic sponge? Have you got the magic sponge? You've got a magic sponge.
Well,
brilliant.
I will make a little tiny sponge for the men.
Little magic sponge.
Yeah.
Nice. So 2 flicks and a magic sponge.
Yep. Two flicks and a sponge down.
That should be my fucking autobiography name.
That sounds like some really weird sort of like animated program, that, didn't it? Square Bob's, was it a SpongeBob 2 flicks?
Yeah, SpongeBob 2 flicks. Nice. Right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you do decide to change your mind and put the 2020-2021 Subbuteo League up, just give us a shout and we'll promote it on the group.
Yes, don't worry. I'm sure I will video something of it. I don't know. I've got Ryan the pitch before I do anything though, because it's all got creases in it.
I am the pitch. Nice. Right. Okay. Well then, while Elton's rolling the pitch, so to speak, Jim.
Euphemism.
Thank you. Elton's rolling his pitch. Dow, how was your week?
Yes. My week has been, well, it's had a bit of a surprise this week.
Mm.
Although I don't know what the surprise is, because it's sitting here looking at me at this very minute. I've got a box, you see, because it's my birthday next week.
Mm-hmm.
One of my presents has turned up early.
Is it a pregnancy kit?
No. That'd be a big pregnancy kit, I'll tell you that now.
Well, you see, you know how you disguise these things, you see. You take a big box, you put a little box inside and another little box.
Indeed.
All the way down to a little blue marker.
No, this is about, I don't know, 2.5 foot long, about 2 foot wide, about, let's see, about 4 inches high. And it's just sat there looking at me, this box, this Amazon box, which I'm not allowed to open until Sunday.
So it's so basically it's an anal intruder.
I think so. It could very well be. I don't know what it is.
Just remember 250 volt current, mate.
Exactly. Yes. So there's that. Okay. This week, I showed the Blues Brothers to Rhiannon. I said, "Have a look at this. See what you think of this film." And we sat and watched it, and I'm sat there singing along and really enjoying it. She was not impressed. She was not impressed.
That's it. Wedding's off.
It's kind of like, oh, okay then. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm okay. I'm not hurt at all.
Oh, man, I know. I feel that pain. I've been there so many times with that.
Indeed.
Oh.
So, yeah, there was that. That was a little bit disappointing.
It's not too late. You can still get out of the house.
I can.
just slowly. Just don't make any fast movements.
Who knows? Maybe it wasn't the right time to show it. I don't know. But right. So 2 other things this week. 2 things that I've played this week. I'll go for the spoiler title first. Does anybody remember a game called Super Hot?
Yes, I do. I completed it.
Yes. For anybody that doesn't know, it's the first-person shooter that anyone can play. Right?
Yes.
Doesn't matter your level of skill, you can play this game and actually play it quite successfully.
Oh, yes. I'm reminded by videos and pictures.
Indeed. Super Hot is basically time doesn't move unless you move. So you can just inch along and you can actually see bullets coming towards you and dodge them. And you do all this and you can pick up things like bottles, plates and stuff, lob them at the enemy. You can punch the enemy out as well, nick their guns as they're flying through midair. And I've even done, what was it I did? I got a knife, I threw it, embedded it in someone's face, and as he fell over, took it out and threw it at someone else. It's basically just like being John Wick, right? But for beginners.
Yeah. But then once you complete the level, it actually plays it in real time.
It does.
Back, which is super impressive, if somewhat epileptic inducing, seizure inducing.
Well, I've got this. I've played that and completed that a while ago, but I've got the sequel now, which is Super Hot Mind Control Delete, which is much bigger, and it's kind of carrying on the story from the first one. And it's like you play it and you complete about 6 levels, and it goes, "Hey, there we go, you've done it, excellent." So you press a key and it goes, "Are you sure you want to do more of this?" And it keeps warning you against doing it. And it says, this is just mindless shooting. You really don't want to do this. And then it takes you back in. So I'm guessing the story's going to take another bit of a right turn with this. Exactly.
Well, it did last time. And that actually, that's another good one for Elton and his mind control stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because the game basically blackmails you into playing it by the end.
Indeed, it does.
Okay,
but it's
I might try it.
It's really, really good. Like I say, anybody who's never been, there's always been put off by an FPS because they're basically, it's like Twitch gaming. Play this, and just have a good old laugh of it. So there's that.
Great.
By the way, watch out when you type in Super Hot in Google.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, don't type Super Hot Shooter because you really don't want to see the films and stuff like that come up with that. Vinegar strokes. Anyway.
My God. No, well, now I'm going to have to just close the browser down now.
So, yes, close the browser. Close the browser. But anyway, moving on to the AAA title that I bought this week, which is something I know you've played, Lee, which is Star Wars, I think it's Jedi Fallen Order. Fallen Order. Fallen Order. A game that has had me smiling and also shouting cunt at the screen in equal measure. And fuck off. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. It's what can I say about it? It's really well executed animation wise. I've got to say the cutscenes, the actual aliens in it and the cutscenes are more believable than the ones you actually see in the films. I don't know what it is, how they've done this. Maybe it's just the motion capture they've done in it, but every single character in it is believable. Doesn't matter what they look like, what race they're from. Every single one of them, I find, I just accept. Whereas with other things like the Star Wars movies, I'm looking at the actual special effects, thinking, "Oh, that's a bit off," or "Oh, that's pretty good." But no, I'm just accepting all of those. So, the thing I've got a bit of a problem with...
The fighting?
is the fighting, the yo-yo fighting. Okay? Whereas some games will give you... It's like, well, I'll give you an example. I'm fighting a bunch of stormtroopers to begin with, and they're being taken out easily. Then all of a sudden, it's like somebody's given them some sort of, a book of kung fu or something, and they've memorized it, and then they've suddenly become a lot better. Mm-hmm. And this is all on the same level, and then the quality drops again. So it's like the game changes its difficulty when it needs it to be.
I can see why you would think that, but actually what's happening is if there's more than like 2 or 3 stormtroopers or 2 or 3 anything,
yeah,
if you're just pulling the same shitty move over, you try and cheese it, they will adapt.
Ah, right, I see.
You see, so yeah, I know what you mean, but I found, because I've played it through to the end now,
yeah.
And I found that what you had to do is you had to kind of sort of keep the game. Don't just go steaming in. It's not a game for steaming in.
Oh no, I've learned my lesson where that's concerned.
And, it's all about managing managing the people in front of you, backing off, trying to keep away from them, and reflecting the bullets back at them as well.
That, I'll tell you what, out of the many things in that game that I do like, the reflection of the energy blast with the lightsaber, that's one of my favourites. Just, you got the stormtroopers firing at you, you're just like, pa-ching, 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 pa-ching. If you time it right, you just reflect the blast back at them.
Yeah.
And the even better one than that is when you get force push and somebody fires a rocket launcher at you, you just go, I think this is yours, mate. There we go.
Yeah, oi, over and my head.
Yeah, and pushing people off of, like pushing fucking goats off of mountains as well. Just fucking blasted them straight off.
Yeah, the problem with the game is also it's got that Dark Souls thing of every time you respawn to get some of your health back, everything comes back.
I'll tell you another thing I've got a real problem with is the save points.
Yeah.
Is the actual thing. They're too, what it is, it's fine, you've got them in there. You've got these like checkpoints where you can save your it kind of says, oh right, okay, so if you die you're going to start from here, all right? But what I would like it to do is, could we not have can we have the actual the checkpoint after the assault course before you get to the place where you get your ass kicked numerous times? Because as annoying as getting your ass kicked is, there's something even more annoying is having to do the jumpy, flippy, jumpy, climb, drop down, run along, do a backflip, go into the thing, and then get your ass kicked.
Can I make a suggestion? I normally wouldn't suggest this, and for if you're enjoying a game, I wouldn't suggest this. But do yourself a favour, and just have a look at the guide on one of the planets. It doesn't matter which planet it is. Just have a look at the guide on one of the planets, because what you find is a lot of the levels have secret pathways that take you through and shortcut back and loop over each other. Yeah,
I've discovered a few of those now.
And sometimes you think like, for example, on the first planet you land on, there's this bloody great big frog thing that's down a hole, and you think,
don't even get me started on that. Fuck, I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to throw a street party when I finally kick its ass.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, what the game doesn't tell you is you can come back to that planet again, and you can come back later and face it with other powers.
Yeah.
So the problem,
back there for a second time now.
Yeah, no. I mean, you have to kind of do a couple of planets before you come back for that fucker, and that's the problem.
Okay.
The game doesn't tell you when you shouldn't persevere. And you've got to kind of either stick with it and kind of go, I'm going to do this with my fucking limp-ass lightsaber and my limp-ass fucking 3 powers, or I'm going to come back here with my double-ended lightsaber and my force powers, and I'm going to choke that fucker from 60 feet away and skewer him to a wall with his own fucking tail.
I'm right, fine. I understand. If I get that, I've got the double-ended lightsaber now.
Right.
I've got that, right? I've picked that up and I've got that ready to go. I haven't actually gone and really used it in combat, but
well, it's very good for the lights, the double-ended one. This is really great conversation for everyone else on the podcast. Yeah, easy, Jim. Yep, thank you. But it's good for keeping people at distance.
Right. Okay.
It's not very powerful, but if they come at you, if there's like more than like 4 or 5 of them, if you light that fucker up and you spin it around, people can't get close to you. So it's a case of you spin it around, you keep people at bay, and it's very good at taking out bullets from different directions. And then you switch back to the single blade when you want to take people out really quick.
Yeah.
So it's that. Okay. That's the other thing. It's all about the flow of the fight. You having to kind of keep people at distance with a double-ended one, then switch to the single blade, then throw it at people. You know, have you got the throw?
No, I haven't got the throw yet. All I've got is I've got the force push. So I've been blowing holes in walls with that and firing fucking goats off of cliffs. That I always try and angle it so that somebody, you know, like this, the poor stormtrooper has got his back to the fucking the valley and just have it. Yeah.
No, the best one is when you get the pull as well. Have you got pull yet?
No, I'm looking for that. So I've got the was it the slow down and the push.
Yeah. Well, when you get pull, you can literally lift the stormtrooper up, as I did once. You lift him up, or if you've got it really powerful, you lift like 4 or 5 of them up, and you're walking around with like a human shield of stormtroopers right in front of you as everyone's just shooting you. So you're kind of tum-ta-dum-ta-dum, and there's all these stormtroopers, and there's like fucking droids and everything shooting at you, going, and all you can hear is the stormtroopers in front of you going, no, I was only 6 days to retirement, You're just walking around. So just if something seems too hard to beat, just leave it and come back another time. They will not go away. Trust me on this. And that yoga boga or whatever they fucking call it down that sinkhole, leave that alone. The other ones, they're easier to take out.
But I've learned my lesson with those. I know the trick with those ones now. I love that little end animation where you slice their legs off. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Have it.
Yeah. Anyway, I won't ruin it for you, but the boss fights do get tough. I'm
sure they do.
If you think that frog thing's tough, you wait until you meet someone who knows how to use a lightsaber.
Okay.
Then it gets tough. But we'll probably hear the "oh fuck off" from across the halfway across the hemisphere at this point. If you run into one of them actually you take down and then gets back up and they sort of re-heal, and you're like, oh for fuck's sake. I'll leave that to you for you to discover who, when, and where.
Okay, no problem.
But have fun. It's actually a very good game.
Yes, I'm liking it.
Cool.
As well as hating it.
Yeah. Anything else, sir?
No, I think that's about it, really.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, I'll just blast through my ones because I haven't really got anything major to say about this week. On the games front, I have discovered a as middle-aged, old-age bloke thing to do on video games as you would ever imagine to find. So you got Elton with his Sabutio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Jim's
don't knock it.
No, I'm not knocking it. And you've got Jim turning into sort of like I say, turning into Rick Wakeman over there. And I've discovered the joys of playing EA 2120 Golf on the PlayStation. What? Yep. Just taking a little walk around the green, doing my PGA golf tour. I've got working my way through a full set of clubs. I'm keeping myself under par. I'm building up my handicap score. I'm doing all right.
Does it come with a free Daily Mail simulator as well? Has your character got a particular gammon sort of finish to his face?
Not yet.
Is he got a Make America Great Again hat?
No, not yet. But it was just weird.
Are his golf shoes made in the finest sweatshops in the deepest, darkest Asia?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, unless my golf shoes cost more than most South American countries, finances, it's not worth having. But no, I just find it chills me out. I just go for a little wander around the links, have a little golf,
Wander around the links. Listen
know.
to you.
I know. It's really weird. Plus, you've got this kind of really soothing guy doing a little sort of like golf commentary on what you're doing. So even when you're shit, he's just going, maybe there's another putt in there, but if he can just shrug it off, he can move on to the next hole and we'll carry on. And it's
does the commentator go, for some reason he's picked up a sand wedge and he's on the fairway.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe his cabbie should tap him on the shoulder and tell him maybe a 9-iron instead. But no, he's changed to driver. Okay, driver, it is. Putter, driver.
Yeah, what was it?
Putter, driver.
Isn't it The Simpsons, where Marge buys for Bart a video game and she gets some Lee Trevino's Golf 1975 or something, something along the lines of sort of like, you've chosen driver. May I suggest the putting wedge? You've chosen driver. It's out of bounds, and then you suddenly see the ball fly into the car park, and it goes, would you like to take that shot again? You have chosen no.
Has it got the Happy Gilmore voiceover in it? There's the ball. The ball wants to get on the plane and go home.
Wants to go home.
Come on, ball. Come on, ball. Come home, ball.
And there I am at 1 o'clock in the morning going, why won't you go home, ball? Yeah.
When you've reached peak golf playing on a video game, right?
Mm.
It's when you sit down and you start designing your own course.
Well.
Oh, no. No.
I've only done 3 holes. I'm working on it.
He said.
Thanks, Jim.
Was that a small village that you kind of bulldozed?
Euphemism.
Oh, yeah.
You ploughed a small village.
Yeah, I ploughed a small village. I've done 3 holes. So, yeah.
You haven't, have you? You started designing your own course.
Yeah, man.
Oh, what a loser.
says the man who's ironing a fucking pitch. That's a tablecloth, right?
Yes.
I don't want to tell you anything. I don't want to break the illusion. Oh dear. See, when we first started the Black Dog back in 2009 era us would be disgusted at how this thing has devolved. It really would.
Yep.
What have we become? Anyway, so yeah, no, I got a copy of that, and then I did make it up though. I have downloaded and been playing Titanfall 2, which is a bunch more on the sort of bangity bang shooty running along walls with a big fucking mech killing.
I thought that was a load of wank.
What, Titanfall 2 or Titanfall?
Titanfall 2. I quite enjoyed Titanfall. Titanfall 2, utter wank.
Oh, okay. Why is that then? Because I haven't played very far into it.
Nor did I. I just got bored. It was just boring.
Oh, right, okay. Not for a hotshot go-getter gamer like yourself, eh?
Exactly, yes.
is. Cool. Okay. Moving on from games then, before we turn into lukegamers.org or whatever the fuck we call it. Watched 2 films other than the one we're about to review. I watched Dusk Till Dawn for the first time in absolute ages because Katie wanted to watch it.
How was it?
It ain't aged well, I'll give you that.
No.
I'll say that. No. I'm kind of glad we're watching it. We watched it rather than on the podcast watch it, if you know what I mean. Because I just sort of went with it and was like, ugh. But yeah, the do you know that thing that they keep saying about Quentin Tarantino having a foot fetish?
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch Dusk Till Dawn, mate. Seriously, and see how that comes to the fore. You're like,
that's the snake dance, isn't it?
what, not just the snake dance. Oh, no. Not just the snake dance, my friend. There's a whole scene where he's basically lusting after Juliette Lewis's toes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, it hasn't aged well, I'll be honest with you. But, you know, it is what it is. But God, some of the dialogue with George Clooney trying to be cool. And George Clooney can be cool, obviously. But it's just like, there's lots of this kind of like, I'm going to shoot you in the face. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. My gun's got 5 bullets that are faster than you. It's sort of like, all the time.
Are you doing that little head shake?
Yeah.
To punctuate a sentence?
Yeah. And the problem is that you get, like, after about the first time of saying I'm going to kill you, you kind of get to that point where you're like, yeah, what are you going to say next? Oh, you're going to rip my arm off and hit me with a soggy end. What? What's left? I've got nothing. You're not scary anymore. You're just constantly threatening and doing nothing. The film is okay, though. It's still fun, but, yeah, it has not aged well, I'll say that. The other film I watched, which I hadn't seen before, was Logan Lucky. After Peter Organ in last week's cast recommended it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I watched that, and I had a lot of fun with that. It wasn't laugh out loud hilarious, which I think a lot of people were expecting, myself included. Mm-hmm. But as a low key kind of heist movie. It's got some nice moments. It's got some good bits in it. I won't spoil anything for you, but there is a bit where a prison standoff with a bunch of guards and a bunch of inmates comes down to a demand to have George R.R. Martin release the next 2 Game of Thrones books. And there's the actual prison warden going, I've looked on the internet. He hasn't released them yet. And then the prisoners are going, bullshit. We saw on the internet that he was doing a press tour and then he was going to finish that book. It must be out by now. I'm sorry, we just don't have the books here. Well, I want to know what happens with Winds of Winter and all this sort of thing. So it's got some weird moments like that which are quite amusing. And yeah, it was good fun. And Adam Driver, was very good in it. There's a lot of stuff to like about it. It's not love it or laugh out loud, but it is a pleasant enough, fun movie to watch. And you can see where if you have seen Knives Out, rather, you can see the origin of Daniel Craig's hee-haw fucking I'm nothing more than a humble space chicken Kentucky Fried Colonel Sanders voice. You can see its origins right here in this movie. So that's quite cool. And that's about it. I mean, other than that, I went down to Brighton yesterday just to have a little day out. And that was I mean, it was horrific if you talk about like social distancing, because it got within 2 minutes of me getting out of the car, I put my mask on, and that was the end of it, because nobody could walk more than about a foot in front of you without turning around and just bumping into you and just bouncing around. So yeah, that's great. So yeah, look for the second wave coming from the south coast, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be great. That was quite
fabulous.
Shit, really. Yeah, it's fantastic, really. But obviously I was down there, so I can't criticise too much because I was obviously part of the problem, I suppose. You know, a little bit of self-reflection there. But otherwise, that was that's it. I've started drawing again as well for this month's draw a day prompt thing. So that's quite cool, which is all going to be based around comic books, just in case anyone starts wondering why suddenly I'm drawing, I don't know, Halo Jones or fucking Spawn or any of the other things that are going on.
Yeah, I saw the first one of that. It's really, really good.
Oh, the Black Panther one. I was really worried about that, I'll be honest with you, because the problem was I can see why they picked it, and that's fine, but and there's no problem there, but isn't there always a little worry? I mean, I know Jim, you and you, Elton, you've drawn and put stuff up on the internet and stuff, but isn't there always a worry that if you're doing something with someone who's just died, there's a sort of sense that you might be, I don't know, milking the grief or riding some kind of wave for clicks?
Kind of, but then I think about Apple and the way that they put on the front page people that have just died.
Yeah.
And think, well, you're kind of doing the same thing, aren't you?
Yeah, but just because Apple get away with it, don't mean to say I do.
No.
To be honest. But, yeah, so I was kind of glad the response to that has been good. So I was quite pleased with that. But I was just all the way last night while I was drawing it, I was just like, oh, man. At some point, someone's going to call me out on this saying, you cynical bastard, you're just hunting for clicks. You're using a trend, sort of thing. And
No, I didn't think that at all.
Oh, well, that's good. If nobody else did.
It was a set thing in a part of an online thing anyway. So it's on them, really.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. Yeah. Well, I'm sure if he's listening, Glenn wouldn't want it to be misconstrued that they were somehow hunting for clicks either, because that was not the case. It was purely my own paranoia that was featuring in that. But yeah, if anybody does want to get involved in that sort of thing, the group is on Facebook. Which is, hold on, I have to remember it now, facebook.com/groups/ now get a pencil if you want to get involved in this. It is Southern GFX Digital Painting Challenge Group. There you go. Or you can just speak to Glenn Southern, who's on the Facebook group, and he'll just point you in the right direction. Or I'll post a link up on the Facebook group anyway, on our one, if anyone fancies it. So, yeah, all this week and all next week and the week after will be comic-based prompts. So that'd be quite interesting.
Cool. Are you doing Inktober, or is that all died?
Inktober can go fuck itself.
Right, okay.
Did you hear about the whole plagiarism thing?
I heard about someone copywriting something.
Oh, God, yeah. The guy who did Inktober has been accused of plagiarism because he took some of his Inktober drawings and put them in a book, and
he did more than that.
And then he copied the tutorials and the style of the tutorials from another artist entirely.
Yeah, he also copyrighted Inktober, and so what happened was, because people have hashtagged their work with the Inktober name, that means he gets ownership of it, and they can't sell on their own work without his permission. It's like steel trap, and he tried to sell the work.
Yeah. Not that mine would have sold, but I immediately took all the hashtags and just turned them into Xtober and Startober and Bollockstober and whatnot else. So I turned it into everything else. I literally went through my entire Instagram thing and just blew it away. So yes, fucking Tober. That's all I'm going to say. So
fucking despicable, that is.
Yep, that is. But welcome to the internet, I guess. So
I don't know. I think he might be introduced the words class action suit very soon.
Yeah, I think he might. Yeah, and then on top of that, he issued.
You can get away with rip off one starving artist. If you rip off a ton of them, they can get together.
Yeah, exactly.
And fucking flatten you.
And that's probably what's going to happen.
And that message was brought to you by the letters stupid and cunt.
Brilliant. Well, on that note, I think we'll leave it there.
I'm available for legal advice anytime.
the Jim Moon legalese. Yeah, legal eagles. Mr. Owl's legal eagle. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there. And we'll move on because there's no feedback per se, and there are. I did ask for a couple of bits and bobs, which we might get to inside the actual review itself. So let's roll the jingle and move on to this week's movie, which is Coherence.
I see it's nearly 5 o'clock. I'm here at home, my work's all done. No question where I'll be tonight, a place of cinematic fun. It's the lockdown, but I will not pout. Oh, my friends, I won't be seeing this out alone. There's Lee and Elton and Jim and Darren, all sitting far apart for social distance. We're at the shut-in cinema, down in the bunker of shun. Down in the bunker of shun.
Hey fellas, it's been nearly 5 years. You gonna let me out now or what?
No. Right, okay, so Coherence is an American surreal psychological science fiction thriller film from the director James Ward Burkett. It was his directorial debut. I shouldn't have eaten that biscuit before I started this, I'll tell you that. The film had its world premiere in September 19th, 2013, so almost exactly 7 years ago. And it stars Emily Baldini, Murray Sterling, and Nicholas Brendan, amongst others. And it deals with a woman who must deal with strange occurrences following the passing of a comet. That's what it says in the wiki. Right. Obviously, it's a little bit more than that. Now, before I ask anyone any of their opinions or anything like this, ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this podcast just out of curiosity, just wanting like, do I want to see this film? I've not seen it before. I would say, regardless of what we have as an opinion of this film, I would say you're probably best to actually pause the podcast, go and watch it. Because going in blank helps. If you go in with all of our opinions battling around in your head, good or bad, then it may well screw your perception of the film up. And I would say that this is a film that probably needs to be seen blind, just so you can make your own mind up. So going forward, I will say that we will be doing spoilers. End of. No questions about it. So,
no takesy-backsies.
No takesy-backsies. So, yeah, I would say if you don't want this film spoiled, then I would say stop here and come back and see us once you've watched the film. Cool. It's not that long. It's only about an hour and a half or something. So, yes, that's that. So here's your last final warning. Spoilers. Spoilers. And if you're still here, well, here we go. Right, so the movie had a budget of 50 grand. Darren, how much do you reckon it made?
Oh, I think it made a monkey wrench, a stapler, and probably a £12 coal hammer.
Okay. Jim?
I think it made 2 million boxes of glow sticks.
Elton?
I'm rolling the dice, and I reckon it makes 6, 4, and 2.
Nice. Well, actually, you're all wrong. It makes 1 smashed windscreen, 2 smashed side doors, and someone dumped in the trunk. There you go. No, it actually made
a bit of ketamine as well.
And a bit of ketamine. Who doesn't like ketamine?
A whisper. Just a whisper.
Just a whisper. Goes along with your plum pudding or whatever the fuck it was, your passion fruit and pomegranate. Actually, it only made $102,000 in its initial release because it was only a small Fantastic Fest release and it was released mainly online. But it still doubled its money, and that's not bad. The only other thing I know about this film, after a little bit of research, was that it was all filmed in about 5 days, and then for reshoots they had to come back and get the lady to redo her hair, and the budget for a wig was $8,000. So of the $50,000 budget, 42 was actually the film, and 8 of it was her wig. But we'll leave the rest there and go round the table. Just quick one-off little quick vibes. What did everyone think about it? Jim, what about you? I know none of us have seen this film apart from Elton.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what I was getting into at the start. I thought I might want to kill all these people. But it intrigued me and drew me in, and I thought it was just a simple idea but done very well. And like all good simple ideas, if you just muck about with them and chuck another simple idea, you can actually make something very complicated.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Darren, what about you, sir? What did you think of it?
I know I enjoyed bits of it. I enjoyed the tension. I don't know. It's one of them. It's a strange film. It's just really strange. It was. I don't know. It was all right.
Okie dokie.
I'm probably going to have to watch it again. I think because because
reasons and shit.
Yeah, like as Jim said, simple idea.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And Elton, what about you, sir? Obviously, you have seen it before. Did this stand up for a second viewing?
I really, really enjoyed it the first time round, and I think that was because I don't often find a movie. I don't often just come across a movie and go, "Oh, I found this." And I think it was a couple of years ago when we were doing like the end of the past year review, I think it was, and I said the best film I'd seen this year was Coherence.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd seen it on YouTube. That's where I'd found it. And I just stumbled across it. I can't remember how I found it, if I'd heard someone talking about it, but I'd found it and I thought, oh, I found a film. No one else has found it. It's brilliant. And that doesn't normally happen. If I've seen a movie and I come to you guys and go, oh, I found this really good film. Yeah, we've seen it. We've all seen it. Don't worry about it. We've all seen it. And we know the director and we know this and we know that. And okay. Nuts.
Yeah.
But this time, when I first found it, I got really excited. I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to... This is one of my films. I found it. And I went into it. I think I was a bit too buzzed about it again because I didn't watch it immediately after when I first found it. I'd let it sit because I didn't want to wear it out. And this time round, I was watching it and I think I got about halfway through going, have I made a boo-boo here? I'm enjoying it, but it's not as good as what I thought it was.
Interesting.
And I watched it, and I came to the end of it. I went, no, there's more there. I need to watch this again. And I watched it today, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. So I kind of I'm glad I watched it for the second time today. I found little bits in there and pieced together little pieces. So I'm glad that I did that. So that saved my day.
Cool. Okay. For me, I mean, I never even heard of this film until last week. I do recall seeing a trailer for it, but I just it passed me by entirely. On the whole, I enjoyed it. However, both myself and Carol sat down to watch this last night, and I think we were about 8 minutes in, and the pair of us just went, "This is improv, isn't it? It's like a murder party, one of those murder parties where someone's just trying to keep conversation going until they can drop the information on their card into the conversation." And I'll be honest with you, the first 25-30 minutes, that kind of acting and that kind of delivery of the plot really, really wound me the fuck up. However, as a counter to that, the ideas and the execution of the ideas and the way that everything slowly evolves, it eventually, once the plot gets going, once the thing actually starts to move, then I was kind of less worried about it. But the initial bits, there were moments where I was just sitting there going, I was literally doing a clap every time that someone dropped a card info. It was like, so someone would be like, "Oh yeah, so how's it been? Yeah, been fine. How's your day? Yeah, great. Anyway, so I brought this laudanum, right, okay, and then everyone goes, "Oh, right, you brought this bottle of ketamine." And they're like, she's like, yeah, it's great. It's just a whisper. And it's just a whisper of ketamine. And you're like, there you go. There's your plot drop. Bang. That lady can now relax and settle back into the background until someone talks to her. So, yeah. So it was a bit of a mixed bag for me. On the first half of it, I was grinding my teeth, something rotten. But by the time the thing got into its, the whole many worlds, many minds, quantum theory stuff, I was like, "Ooh, well, okay, fine." And I found myself trying to unravel preemptively and also retroactively unravel where everything was and where everyone was, and spotting stuff. So it became like a sort of it became a visual puzzle. And once I had that puzzle there, I enjoyed it a lot more. But that first 20 minutes was amateur theatre time, because I was just like, oh my life, I've seen whole episodes of Whose Line Is It Anyway like this.
It's up until the blackout, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's up until the two guys, is it Hugh and Amir, up until they leave, because they're so intent on leaving and everyone is so shocked by that move that it's like, well, those two have kind of decided that, some piece of information has been dropped to them and they have to leave now. It's very clear they have to leave now, because they suddenly go, anyway, so I'm going to talk to you about my brother, who's a quantum physicist, who was talking about this comet, and then you go, right, okay, now I have to leave to go to the other house. You're like, what? Where did that come from? So I had a bit of an issue with that, but it was an interesting experiment, and I think for a first-time director, it was a great move, and it ended up working out in the end. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's get into it. I mean, quick round the table. When did you work out something was going wonky?
when I read the blurb for the movie, and it says this woman has to deal with parallel dimensions, and it's like, okay, fair enough.
So much for that then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I have a bit of trivia, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This film features two individuals who were both in separate 90s TV shows. One a lot more successful than the other one. Okay. Of course, the more successful one being Nicholas Brendan, who was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But then you also had, what was the lady's? Elizabeth Grayson, who was in Highlander, the Raven, looking exactly like she did in that TV show.
I thought that was her.
Yep, that was her.
I couldn't be sure, but I thought that was her,
Highlander the Raven, memorable, if only for the fact that every time she had to change a scene, she had to pick up the corner of her coat and fling it like a cloak. So it looked like, among other noticeable things in other TV shows, like Mark Dacascos in the Crow TV show, who literally had to ride a motorbike between rooms.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. You had to flick the coke so you could cut as she flicked. Exactly.
So it looked like it was a proper cape. But you see her pick up the coat and she does that with it. And it's just, it's a movie as cheap as the rest of the show.
Nice.
But there you are.
There you go. But anyway, so what about you, Jim? When did you first twig that something wonky was going on?
I think it was the blackout where you were saying like, it's all going to suddenly kick off now.
Yeah,
and it just kind of, there's a few things mentioned about the comet and blah blah blah. But when the lights went out, I thought, oh, here we go.
Yeah,
just that's when the alarm bells rang for me.
Nice. And what about you, Elton?
I'm of the same opinion. I think it was more the blackout and then the bang on the door.
Oh, yeah.
On the hidden door, the door to nowhere that they called it. Because there's little drops and hints and flicks, especially if you watch it a second or third time round. And you can really, they are just info dumps. And you can see them from a mile off now. Yeah. But it's, that banging on that door, then you're kind of, okay, what the hell is going on here? Who did that? And then when they're looking out, they either see someone or they don't see someone, and there is a lot of tension there. And especially later on as well, there's one moment where there's just huge amounts of tension. I'm sure we'll get to it later on, but it's just, I really like that ebbed and flowed. But I think for me, it started going wonky when you have that first blackout, because it's such an almost instant blackout, and then it's black for a long period of time. Then they crack open the old glow sticks, but it is black for a long period of time.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I mean, I thought something was up. I mean, I don't want to sound like, oh yes, I knew it all before it was, proper and all this sort of thing. But looking back on it, I think I was already in the kind of, okay, something's wonky going on already, when her phone just basically exploded in her hand after about a minute of the film running. It was like, okay, something strange is going on here. That's a bit weird. But it's one of those things. It's like, it's in hindsight more than sort of noticing it in the film. You sort of watch it and you kind of go, actually, yeah, when her phone went smash, that's kind of the start of it. But anyway, I mean, we'll get to that, because I had another thought as well. But
I have tinfoil hat season now. It's all happening today.
Is it all there? Is it?
Yeah, but we'll get back to that later.
Okay, cool. All right then. Well, then, in which case, I mean, how do you think the mystery progressed? Did you like that, or did you find yourself getting confused and a bit lost with it? I mean, anyone jump in, obviously. What do you think?
Well,
I got on board fairly quickly because I suddenly realised what the actual title referred to.
Mm.
And I am familiar with the whole coherence, decoherence, wave function collapse, quantum mechanics, spookery. And suddenly I realised, right, and I had a good idea what was going on. As far as you can have a good idea what's going on. Kind of in the general setup, I mean, not the exact nuance of what house is where, who's where.
Yeah.
But I worked out kind of, there's more than one house here. This is what you guys aren't grasping.
Yeah.
It's not just one instant that's branching.
Yeah.
Every decision you make, it's another branch. It's another branch.
Yeah.
So I was slightly ahead of them in that case, but that was only theoretically. Obviously, I had to watch the movie to see, well, how's the movie actually going to play with this? How twisted are they going to go? Are we getting to primer levels of? Can I have a diagram?
Yeah. Can I have a list, please? Yeah. What were you going to say, Dal?
I was just going to say I like that bit where they've gone out into the street to try and see this other house, and then they meet each other in the street, and it's that bit where they just look at one another. Yeah, you got the party with the blue glow sticks and the ones with the reds.
Yeah,
I must admit, I'm thinking to myself, why are you like running away from one another? It's that whole thing of they think the other one's going to do them harm, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
What gives you that idea?
Well, that is almost a thing in itself, wasn't it? I didn't quite get how everyone sort of leapt straight to these are evil doppelgangers or something. I mean, put yourself in the same position. Would you be thinking that?
I think that was that Mike, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
I think once someone introduces the idea, like Mike did, because he's fucked up anyway, it's like, saying, don't think about a blue monkey.
Yeah.
You're all fucking thinking about blue monkeys now, aren't you?
Bastard.
Kind of, Once someone mentions it, and if you're in that situation where you're going, what the hell's going on? Yeah. It's like, someone just put down a big old lightning rod for all your anxiety and paranoia.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What were you going to say? Sorry, Elton, you were going to say something there, or did I miss it? Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just going to jump in and out.
It's cool. It's cool.
I think this film deserves it.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. If I sound like I'm being a bit sort of like double checking everyone's saying everything, it's because I just know that someone's going to come out with something and go, oh, and I noticed this, and everyone's going to be, oh, hang on. So I don't want anything to get missed. I mean, I was going to say I found the whole sort of thing of like how the mystery kind of unveiled itself was kind of really well done. Improv aside. But once it started to do that whole thing of the screen constantly blacking out, I was already sort of thinking, well, this has got to mean something. And I don't know if that's just me overthinking it straight away, but it was just like, I'm thinking, this has got to mean something. You don't just keep doing these kind of weird... Because at first it's like passages of time, sort of here, everyone turns up, then everyone's at the party, then everyone's having conversations, then the conversations are kind of wearing down and separating out, and then the thing happens. But the blackouts kept happening with the cuts, those kind of long sort of minute in the dark cuts.
Like the fade to blacks.
Yeah, the sort of fade between scenes.
Yeah. Which
were actual sort of proper hard cuts. Those started happening even after the party had finished. And I thought, well, you're not really passing time now. You're not gaining anything by passing time. So what does that mean? And in hindsight, as soon as that started to happen, I started to think, are we still watching the same group? Or is it every time it goes black, we're watching a completely different group?
Well, I did wonder that, because there was a woman that going, you've been giving me shit all night. And it's like, what do you mean she's been giving you shit all night? She hasn't done fuck all. She turned up. Everybody was like really unfair about her. What was her name? Laura, I think her name was Laura. Lauren, something like that.
Well, that changed as well, didn't it?
Well, that happened. Yeah.
Because that's the thing. As soon as that was the thing, I was starting to think, how are we even watching the same group from start to finish? And I know that's not how, the end kind of implies that you're not watching the same group, but right from the very start, I mean, literally from them pulling up, are they even in? Because she has the fucking the phone break while she's in the car and loses the signal. So from that point on, is it even the right house she's gone to in the first place?
Well, that is one of the things I did write down because Emily turns up at the house and the phone's broken. So that means that things are going on. The comment is already above and affecting things. And then you have Amir and Laura, whatever her name was, turn up. There's no guarantee that they were supposed to go into that house. They could possibly have gone through the darkness, driven through the darkness, and arrived at the wrong house.
Yeah. Well, they all had to go through the darkness to get there. That was the thing. So, yeah, I mean, that was the thing. As soon as you start thinking about it, you go, well, hang on, are we in the right house in the first place? Is she in the right house?
Well, we're following Emily, aren't we? Or Em. That's who we're following throughout the whole story.
But are we?
I think we are, yeah.
Well, okay, I'll throw it open for the others just now, but I've got something that come up, and I suddenly think that we weren't. But what about you guys? I mean, do you think that we're watching the same group all the way through, Jim?
I'm not sure, because it seems once the groups start getting mixed up, and you have those cuts, it's kind of, well, whose house have we gone back to? And actually, the group does end up very mixed up, and I couldn't quite, because that scene where she does the numbers, and he says, right, these two are from this house, and everybody else wasn't. And it's kind of, okay, there's more stuff that's gone on here. Wow, we've been slipping as well.
Yeah. What about you, Dal? Do you think we were following the same M, or?
I think we probably weren't, just because of some of the conversations that went on, especially there. I mean, for me, the gauge was there. Laurie, who turned up, their attitude towards her. She's, mysteriously sexy and stuff like this. And it's just, to me, it sounded like, I don't know, maybe there was a bit of jealousy from certain people in the household where she was concerned, because when she turned up, she seemed quite normal.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't and that's where it kind of gets a bit strange, because you don't know whether or not that jealousy thing is something that they were improving, or whether or not that was actually in the script and something that everyone had to say.
Yeah.
But the reason I was going to say I wasn't entirely sure about M was the finale. Yeah. Because in the finale, she gets to the perfect house, quote unquote, and then what she does is she breaks the car. Yeah, so she breaks the car window. Everyone goes out. The other M, let's call her M2, goes to the car, and our M basically throttles her, throws her in the trunk, and takes her, and she takes the other one's jumper, right?
Right.
Then when they all go back into the house, she's fiddling with the jumper. Then, when she sees, next thing you know, there's the blackout, because they all go outside to look at the comet, and it all goes black, and then everyone goes back inside. She's not wearing the jumper. And she sees another one. She sees M, and I'm going to call this one M3, crawling back into the house. and that's when she brains that one. But what we're looking at now is we're not looking at our M braining M3. We're looking at M4 braining M3.
And M2 is in the trunk.
M2's in the trunk.
M1 is our one in a different somewhere else.
Yeah, we've lost her. Yeah, right. That's it. She's ended up in the right world. Thanks very much and good night. Because she's not wearing the jumper. She's not wearing the jumper when she brains the other one. And then when she faints, and next thing you know, you see another M. I don't even think that's the same M. Wake up on the sofa. She's not wearing a jumper. She's not wearing the ring, and the phone call comes. The body isn't in the bath, and a phone call comes because she's in the trunk. And the M that's in the trunk is a completely different one because she still has the jumper with the phone in it.
Yep.
And that is my name is Lee Metcalf. Welcome to my TED Talk. Thank you. So,
well, I'm glad we sorted that out.
Yeah, but that whole finale was just a coda. Once it all went dark, our M made it to the fantastic, everyone's happy future.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it. She went, yeah, you're going to be okay with, the other one subbing for you while you're going around Vietnam, and all of everything's worked out. She can be a ballet dancer, and she's got the understudy who's not going to overtake her. And then it just goes black, and it's like, ta-da, she got away. And then just to show you how shit it could have gone, here's M2 and M3 having a punch-up in the bath, and here's M4 waking up on a sofa with no body and nobody in the bath, and the other one still in the trunk, but she's got the actual jumper and the working phone.
So you think the blackouts and the fades to black are switching between houses?
Switching between
like a
realities.
Hard switch.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of things we take on trust in this film. And again, if anyone wants to tell me I'm talking bollocks or has another theory or something springs off of this, just jump in, because otherwise it's just going to be me just waffling.
Do you know, I'm going to have to watch it to watch where the fade to blacks are.
Because I also think, here we go again, I also think that a different reality happens every time someone leaves the room.
You think?
Well, it's possible.
Because, Jim, if you're knowing all these kind of quantum theories and many worlds interpretation and all that sort of thing, it's literally every time there's a decision made, every time something changes, it splits. It splits. In which case, the instant everyone arrives, they're in their wrong worlds. The instant that Brendan goes off to, what's his name? Is Nicholas Brendan. Mike goes off to get a bottle of wine. That's a new world. That's why sometimes he's drinking and he's completely drunk, and then other times he's drinking and he's sitting there in the kitchen thinking he's a fuck up, but he's not drunk. He's just sitting there sulking in the kitchen. Whereas 5 minutes ago, you saw him sitting there being, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
And literally every time someone leaves the room, whether it's all together or not, as soon as someone breaks contact from another person, new reality.
Well, I think that was kind of explained when they got the calculator out and they worked out how many, like, even just with the dice, working out the dice and numbers, and then the little thing that they put in the box. That they showed like over 5 million different combinations there. But then you have all the other houses. What I like about it, though, is I suppose they go outside when the first blackout happens, and they see the little house maybe 2 blocks down, they say. And then when they start their generator, they become that house to someone else. And so that kind of has like a repetition to it. So you're always one house behind of what's going on and one house ahead of everyone else.
But that assumes, there you go. See, that assumes a number of things, because that assumes that everyone's running at the same time, in which case they're not offset. What's happening is one house is affecting another house, which is affecting another house, which is affecting another house. So literally, when someone knocks on the door and everyone shits themselves, that's another house which has come to the conclusion of trying to get into that house and knocking on the door.
Yeah.
So they've already come to the same decision, but from a different angle, from a different perspective, which means that they've got a completely different outcome, which has just happened to cross over with this one single event. If you start doing that, you suddenly say, well, it's not just the glow sticks, not just the dice rolls, it's not just, the note and the letter and all that sort of thing. It's literally every decision they make. In which case, you're talking about infinite numbers of worlds.
Well, that's what I thought anyway.
Cool.
That it would be that vast, and there was nice little lines dropped in there as well. Laurie as well. You know when she steals that kiss from Kevin in the hallway. There's a line she says. She apologizes for kissing him and says, "I'm sorry, I'm crossing over all types of boundaries here."
Yeah,
and that's just like okay, this is getting into meta detail now. We are crossing over so many boundaries in the physical form, and also, you shouldn't have kissed him as well. But it's like, that type of detail I really like. That makes it work really, really well.
Yeah. Well, it's things like, for example, Nicholas Brendan obviously is the key here as well. When he said he was on telly, and he goes, I was on TV, and then they say, well, what were you on? And he goes, well, Roswell. And he says about he was on Roswell 1999 to whenever, and then everyone says, we never saw it. I love Roswell. I never saw you in it.
Yep.
So, but that's kind of playing on the fact that we all know as an audience that he's in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Which is around the same time. So already he's from a different timeline.
Yeah.
Straight away, he's actually an actor in a TV show that no one else has seen him in.
Well, that's why Laurie was sat there going, well, I'm sure I would have recognised you. Have you done something with your hair? And that's when I was thinking, okay, they're not supposed to be here. They're not connected. They're in the wrong type of world.
Which only works if you're sort of pouring over it from the off, because you're kind of pre-warned, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not a first time watch. You're not going to get that on the first time.
No, I mean, but like I say, I was literally doing that whole thing of going, oh, hang on, and I was kind of rolling backwards. But something like Nicholas Brendan, I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a big thing, and I just thought that was a gag initially. But once it sort of got going, I'm thinking, well, actually, no, maybe he was supposed to say Buffy, but he couldn't say Buffy, so they've made it part of the plot almost.
I'd never actually thought of that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So straight away you're into that sort of, hang on, so he's not supposed to be there. He's in the wrong universe from the off.
Hang on. It's his house. It's his house. So he's in the right place. Everyone else is in the wrong place.
Except when you see him sit down to dinner and everyone starts talking about it, he leaves the room.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why straight away I was into this kind of whole thing of every decision that's made. Because he gets up and he goes, I'm going to go get the wine. Who wants a wine? And he gets up and he fucks off.
Yeah.
As soon as he's gone to a different universe. The other one that comes back, we're supposed to believe that the whole thing's in a Schrodinger's box, So going through the black zone takes you to a different universe, but nothing's really ever defined by that. We just know that from the end when she's walking between houses. But for all we know, it's literally in every single decision that every single one of them makes.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, it's a thinker, isn't it?
It's a thinker. Yeah, I mean, it's only the fact I'm a, fully paid up geek member, that made me sort of go, oh, he's going to say Buffy, isn't he? Just because this is being improv. And he went Roswell, and I thought, what? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's weird. How come you haven't got the rights? You got the rights to Roswell, but you haven't got the rights to say Buffy. They're the same fucking company. And
would they have to pay for rights for them to actually mention it?
I guess if he's associated with it, but
right,
maybe. But then, there's nothing to say. You can't just say it. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, does it? Unless he's doing something to defame the franchise, but the franchise is not running. So no. But yeah, so as soon as that happened, I was like, ooh, hang on. He had every opportunity to say something there, and everyone's watching knows who he is. Maybe that's a little meta gag.
I have a question for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Does everyone enjoy these types of movies where you have to sit down and think about where people have to be and what's going on, like time loops and stuff like that? Or is it something that really puts you off? Because I can imagine people, they enjoy it to a certain extent, but if it gets too hard or if it gets too complicated for overcomplicated reasons, for no reason whatsoever, then that could put people off. So what do you guys think about that sort of thing?
I think if the payoff makes sense, then yeah, because it's all good building up, laying on the mystery. But if it just fizzles out, you get bored of it and you suddenly speed up the ending, or don't actually have anything you're aiming for. You're just making this shit up as you go along, J.J. Abrams. Then, no, sorry, who's that other twat he wrote with?
Lindelof.
Yeah, there you go. Then that's what breaks something like that. I think it's always a shame when I watch some of these films that look really interesting as a concept, and then, it's like I watch a lot of Dust films, right, on the Dust channel, the sci-fi shorts, and some of it could be very hit and miss, and that's the same way with that. They have a nice premise, but then it's like somebody runs out of the ideas at the end, and it just doesn't make sense by the end of it. You think, well, what the fuck was the point of that?
Yeah. So
I do like stuff like this, but as I say, it's got to at least make sense. It's got to seem like it hasn't been rushed and that it's been thought about right up to the very end.
Yeah. What about you, Jim?
Again, it depends on the execution. I mean, it's very easy to lay down mysteries and particularly go, ooh, time loop, ooh. And use that as an excuse for not making any sense. But generally, I enjoy this kind of thing where someone has actually thought it out and is actually several steps ahead of you thinking it out as you're watching. I think for this one, it makes the smart move of it pegs the storyline on a human element, not on the arcana of the science fiction or the time travel rules. And because it is about, her trying to find the perfect house and the consequences of that. And that gives you a good, I think, a good emotional sort of payoff to the story. Whereas other things, they try and paint themselves into a corner of mysteries they have to explain, and they can't explain because they don't even know what the answer was in the first place. And that's when the stories tumble down. Whereas in this, it's not important to understand how many different houses there are. You don't need to know that. In fact, not knowing is more effective, and that's not an issue for you to find out. But there's all these clues that the more you watch it, you realise, oh, actually, this is a lot more layered than I first thought. But, because they lull you into kind of, oh, there's another house. There's that, like a quantum stutter. There's a second house. Then you realise there's a third house or a fourth house. And these things aren't running in parallel, that the timelines are tangled as they're interacting. I think that's really sort of clever, the way it shows you things just enough just to twist it one more time, not just sort of make the mistake of going, mystery, 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 second half, don't know, bye-bye.
Yeah. Smoke bomb, baby. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, for me, I find I'm kind of with Darren on this one. I'm willing to go with it, and also Jim, I mean, I'm willing to go with it as far as it goes, as long as I feel that there's someone with their hand on the wheel. I mean, you brought up Lindelof, you brought up Lost. I mean, I would say between that and something like Prometheus, for example. And also, I tell you what, Battlestar Galactica, let's go there. I mean, when they're sort of promising you stuff and they're laying the mysteries on in the game, but you're like, okay, are you going anywhere with this? Okay, are you going anywhere with this? And if suddenly you get the sense, you lose confidence in the filmmaker's ability or the filmmaker themselves, that's it. I'm out. I can't be bothered to expend the energy figuring it out if they can't expend the energy in the first place to figure it out. And, and Galactica's a good example. Once they went, oh yeah, we'll just jump a year forward. And you're like, right, why? And then it's suddenly like, oh, and we'll introduce all these characters and we'll just say, hey, guess what? That happened off screen somewhere. Blah. What's the plan? I don't know. Here's some Jimi Hendrix. Blah. It's like, fuck off. You haven't a clue. I'm out. Peace off. I'm off. And the same goes for, like, with Prometheus. It's like, here's the black goo. It does this. Ooh. You're like, right, okay, cool. I understand it now. Except it doesn't do that. It does this. Ooh. Okay. You've changed your mind. Okay, they're scientists. They're not acting like scientists. They're acting like knob ends. Okay, fair enough. Oh, this, suddenly it goes from woo, look at the mysteries and interesting things to, okay, we haven't got a fucking clue, but look at the monster over here. It's like, oh, you get fucked. Whereas, someone like, for example, like Christopher Nolan, I haven't seen Tenet. Not entirely sure when I would ever see it at the moment. But say what you like about Inception and The Prestige, and to a lesser extent Interstellar, though Interstellar's not really my thing. But the fact of the matter is, every step of the way, that even if you don't necessarily like the how the film is delivered, you know that there is a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there is a mystery in the middle of it that you can work out if you just apply yourself to it. It's not hand wavy bollocks. And as long as you get that sense of confidence, then I'm willing to go with it. I don't care what you're going to sell me. If you're going to say, oh, and then suddenly a griffin comes down from the sky with a monkey and a fez on its head, you're like, if I believe everything, you know what you're doing, then I'm with you. But if you suddenly just turn around and go, oh, look, over here, look over here, don't look at that thing, ignore the man behind the curtain, Chris Carter, it's just, if it suddenly goes like the X-Files or something like that, you're just like, oh, fuck off, I can't be bollocks to sit there and fill in the blanks for you because you can't be asked to write them. So, yeah, that's my thing. Sorry, Elton.
No, that's cool. What you said, Jim, about the staggering of the time as well, I really appreciate it, because if someone left the room, let's say Mike left one of the houses, if that time wasn't staggered, he'd leave every single one of them houses at exactly the same time, and that would be the decoherence, wouldn't it? He would never meet himself. unless he crossed himself in the street.
But that's the point, isn't it? That the time is staggered because the decisions are different.
No, that's what I like about it. Yeah, that's what I like. You know, if it was all just the same thing is happening in this house or in that house, then it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work at all. It would be like a clock just working and ticking away and not malfunctioning whatsoever.
And that is coherence, by the way. That's not decoherence. Decoherence is when it all... I mean, they got it arse upwards, but decoherence is when it stops being a stable situation.
Right, okay.
They got it back to front. They wanted it to be decoherent when, you know, where you stay where you are.
Yeah.
And it was just like, no, thing is back to front. You're collapsing your waveform, so you want it to be coherent, so everything's all in the same place and everyone's keeping time with everyone else.
Ah, okay.
But anyway, so I mean, sorry, I just interrupted you. Just fucking nerd hat on again. But yeah, I mean, what do you feel? By the end of it, do you feel satisfied or curious by the film? Do you want to go and learn more? I guess that's kind of going back to my point about if you feel like there's someone with a hand on wheel. Would you guys want to go back and watch this film again to see if you've missed things, or would you like to know more about the universe, or you just like, okay, nice mystery, thanks very much, but I'm not doing that again? Jim, Darren, anyone?
Say again, sorry, what was that?
Would you, I mean, this film kind of throws so many things at you that we can obviously discuss as we are. Yeah. But would you rather, is that mystery a satisfying enough mystery that you can sit there and go, actually, do you know what? I'm happy where I am. If I know nothing more, then I'm happy. If I do know something more, then that'll be interesting. So I'll either go back and watch it again, or I'll learn more about this film. Do you feel like that?
I think that if you get a good, you know, if you've enjoyed that film, there's always that danger of if they do anything more to it, that they're just going to fuck it up. You know, sometimes it's better if there's, you know, you don't answer every single question. You know, you don't need to find out if, you know, where, you know, oh, let's do a prequel to this and find out where Bert Scroggins got his shoes. It's like, no, you don't need to know any of that. You don't need to know where the thing in the box came from or anything, right? Okay, any of those things in the boxes, you don't need to know anything. You just, you know, if it's good enough, it will just keep it as it is, because, like I say, you're risking it.
Yeah, definitely. So would you? I mean, if someone was to turn around and say, "Go over here to this," I don't know, web page or Reddit or YouTube video that kind of explains the ending,
yeah,
would you be interested in listening to that or watching that or reading that, or would you just go like, you know what I know, I've got my own opinion on it, thanks very much, I'm out. You know, I don't want to go any further with it.
That's a problem. I mean, if there was enough of it that interested me that I thought, well, the ending was a little bit confusing, so I need to know that just to tie it up, then I might go and have a look. But if the whole film confused me, then it would be like, why do I need to go to a website to have someone explain this to me? Why couldn't I just watch this now and understand it?
Yeah.
You know, is it me? Am I stupid? Or is this just badly written? Is it not? You know, you can... I know you shouldn't give too much exposition, because too much exposition, like you said there, hey, George, how's that thing you did last week? You know, the thing where we did this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it's like, well, the person knows what you're talking about, mate, because he was there. You know, you're just explaining it for the audience now, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's... Oh, it's... I know what I'm trying to say. Fucking hell.
Is there a YouTube video we can look at that will explain what you're trying to say?
There might be, yes. Or do you know enough? Do you know enough of what I'm trying to say?
I want to know more.
You know, that I don't want to spoil it for you because, like, you know,
Darren's reviews and explanation. Sorry, there'll be a little thumbnail with a picture of you in a red circle and an arrow pointing at it or something.
Let me give you an explanation of my explanation. And if you like this, hit subscribe, because then I'll bring out another explanation of this explanation of that explanation there.
Yeah, hit the up thumb. Hit the up thumb and the like bell and
stick a thumb up my ass if you like this video.
Yeah, and just if anyone does make YouTube videos, please don't do yo YouTube what's up, because I don't care what information you've got, I'll never listen to it.
Can I just ask, with that kind of thing, does it not annoy people when somebody puts out a video, a review of something, and before you've even watched it, they go, "Oh, please press subscribe." And it's like, fuck off! Why am I going to subscribe when I've not watched the fucking video? Why would you say that?
On my videos, I don't even say like and subscribe, because there's a fucking button there. Use it. You know, I'm not telling you to do anything.
So why don't I just say, if you like this, then, you know, if you like it enough, then please press subscribe. It's like saying, I'll tell you what, look, I've made you this sandwich, right? But can you write a review of it before you've eaten it and put 5 stars up? You wouldn't do that, would you? You wouldn't put your name to something like that and, you know, claim something's the greatest and eat it. And it's like, oh, fucking hell, he stuck a turd between 2 bits of bread. And I've just said this is like the greatest thing ever. And now I'm going to get beaten up every time somebody who's fallen for it has taken a bite of this shit sandwich.
And that sound you can hear, ladies and gentlemen, is the wheels coming off.
Sorry.
No, it's all right, mate. I was just joking.
That just annoys me, watching some of these fucking videos on. I've been doing a lot of the Skyrim, like, you know, ooh, look at this. This is something you might have missed videos. It's like, yeah, please press subscribe. It's like, no, I fucking won't. I'm definitely not doing it now. You've asked me to do it. It's like a waiter come up and saying, well, where's my fucking tip? It's like, well, here's your tip. Don't ask for a fucking tip. You cheeky cunt.
As the leper said to the prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the tip. Just the tip. Anyway. Okay, so trying to think what. Oh God, I've gone right off piece.
Okay,
now.
there were a couple of moments I really enjoyed in this.
Okay, yeah, bits you enjoyed. Go on then.
Okay, there was a bit where, well, I know we have like the dancer info drop earlier on with Laurie saying, "Oh well, you know, she took your life," blah blah blah. You know that's going to happen later on, but I still like it. I don't know why. It is kind of clunky the second, third time you watch it, but.
Yep.
It still works for me. There's that bit where Michael's starting to go off the rails, and he's saying, "Well, I'll just go over there and fight him. I'll beat him." And you're like, "Well, if you go out there to fight, who do you think you're going to fight? And you're going to end up fighting you." And then later on, there's that moment where he just bursts in and decks him. You're like, "Oh, yes, you just decked yourself. That's amazing."
Yeah,
that works for me. And the tension, there's a tension bit where Em has gone to the car to get the ring for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. And she puts the ring on and she meets Kevin outside. Now, this is Kevin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I don't know. Kevin 7,429.
Yeah.
And you can tell by his expressions that he doesn't quite know exactly what she's on about when she's talking about Laurie.
Yeah.
And I think they call her by a different name. I'm sure they do.
Lauren,
is it?
Yeah.
You're right.
Or at least I think it's something like that.
Yeah. And then you have that glazed expression from him when she mentions something else. And she starts slowly backing away. And he's just still glazed. And he's like, fuck, what do I do? What the hell is going on?
I mean, she looks away and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Which again brings me back to that thing of like, as soon as your glance is averted, as soon as you've done a different decision, then you've collapsed that waveform. You've gone to some other universe.
Well, isn't that quantum as well? You can't, is it like a particle? You can't tell the direction of the particle once you're actually viewing the particle It's only once you stop viewing it that you know which direction it went.
Yeah. It's you're talking about oh god, there's the Heisenberg uncertainty.
But that's the observer effect.
Yeah,
the idea that you cannot actually observe something without changing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So by opening the box, you know whether or not the cat is or alive or dead. So you collapse the waveform. Yeah, that.
And then you get, according to many worlds, anyway, that's when you get the split.
Yeah.
The decoherence, because suddenly the universe forks.
Yeah, exactly. But then that's also the whole thing of if you do the other one, which is the many minds instead of many worlds, that's based on the observer rather than the thing that's being observed. So
yes.
So it's kind of back to front. So if she looks to the left, and then as soon as she looks to the right, and there's three people standing there, they're not the same three people as when she looked away.
Right.
Because as soon as she looks away, she's essentially creating a Schrodinger's box that behind her are three people, and they're either there or they're not.
But as soon as she observes them, that proves that they are there.
Exactly. And if you take that to all of them, every single character in there, you've already multiplied that 5 million, whatever it is, by 6 again. And then again, every decision that they make, every time they blink, every time they look away, every time they yawn, every time they do anything which takes them away from being an observer, you're into a new universe.
That's crazy. So what was she, and I'm talking about M, what was she looking for at the end? Was she looking for the perfect M to take place of, or was she looking for the M that says, yes, I will go to Vietnam with you?
Just one where it's all worked out, where it's all everyone's happy, I think, because it was all getting worse and worse and worse. Especially the one with two mics tied up with different glow sticks tied to them and strapped to a chair.
Oh, I would love to have seen what happened there.
But I mean, I figured that was just the sort of, well, you know, that was just the whole, suddenly she just realizes that everything's gone horribly wrong in the place that she's standing in, and she's like, well, I could be somewhere else then. And she just twigs that just by going away. But the irony being that as soon as she walked out that door and looked away, if you go many minds instead of many worlds observer theory, as soon as she walked out the door, as soon as she came back in, she'd be in a different world. So she didn't even need to walk down the street. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, as I gathered it, she was looking for a universe where everything had figured out. Right. And, you know, basically that's exactly what she did. She found it. She looked through the window. There's you know, M2046000 or whatever it is, you know, sort of sitting there with Kevin, and, you know, there's Amir with Lauren, Laura, Leslie, whatever her name was on that particular universe. And in that instance, you know, everyone's smiling, everyone's happy, Mike's not drinking, you know, and it's just like, that's where I want to be. So to do that, she fucked it up. But then again, if you go for the observer theory, then she didn't, because she was in the right universe by the time the lights went out. And it's once the lights come back up and then we're looking at a totally different M, because it's our observer universe.
Okay, cool.
Or at least that's how I see it. I mean, if you think I'm talking bollocks, go for it. Tell me.
No, I'm just...
No, this is all interesting stuff. So, I was thinking around on similar things, like how far is the branching going, and you know how. I mean, for me personally, I don't think the screenwriters have like a full map of every possible universe.
No,
but I don't think they needed to know that to tell the story. They just needed to know the immediate ones who are affecting the characters. And kind of any sort of YouTube video. This is the explanation of this film. It's kind of, well, just blow it out your ass. You've made that up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you concentrate on the wrong bit of the story anyway. Because it is about, it's not so much about kind of who's collapsing what waveform. It's about the consequences of people's decisions in their lives. And it's, there's a Kim Newman novel that he did like a fantasy game book called Life's Lottery, where you take charge of a guy's life and you make decisions. And just like a typical fantasy game book. But the wrinkle is, on some timelines, you get to, by various reasons, you get to go back and redo things. And the book structure starts to break down.
Yeah.
And goes into sort of weird loops as you start to short circuit the idea of sort of narrative choices in your life. And something sort of similar is happening in here. I mean, a moment I liked is Mike's wife. They have this little conversation. She says, "Oh, but he's always drinking. That's why I can't get any work." You go, "Whoa, hang on. This is a different wife," because the Mike we started with allegedly wasn't drinking. Yeah. Is that bullshit, or is things more confused than we thought?
Yeah.
And there's lots of little things like that, but they've sort of got this cool sci-fi spin, but it's also, it makes you think about people's life choices. And there's also that what if game you can play in your own life. If I'd done that, if I did this. And this sort of, that's the underlying anxiety, I think. And that's, where it leads you to, at the end, where she's trying to look for a better house.
Yeah.
To end in. And like, how far will you go to get that better house?
Well, exactly. And then on top of that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily scan that you inserting yourself into that better house makes things better, because you wouldn't necessarily have the life experiences or the life choices that led you to that point. So therefore, you may actually make things worse just by being there. I mean, like, for example, that M going into that special house, getting rid of, expert M, shall we say, expert ballet dancer and, Vietnam explorer M. And it's like suddenly she inserts herself into that world, takes the experienced M out, and then suddenly, next day goes back to work and is suddenly a shit ballet dancer and gets fired.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. She hasn't got the experiences, has she? She hasn't. Her life is perfect where she is at the moment because that's how she's led to that position. Exactly.
I mean, it's an interesting thing to say, if this film is really about, the path less travelled and, looking at the grass is greener on the other side, if that's ultimately what it's about, it really doesn't work that you'd ever get that reality. You'd never get it. Even if you went, it's like, say, for example, with me, I like to say, say in a different universe, I ended up, I don't know, working on bigger feature films forever. It's like, then I find my that person, and then I go and do that, and I'm like, brilliant, great, I've got this job, and then I sit down and they ask me to do something that I've got no experience in knowing how to do, and I'll be fired within 5 minutes, and I'm back to square one. In fact, I'll probably be worse off. So, you can't insert yourself into that world, no matter how much you might like to. You're still looking at it through a pane of glass, because you'll ruin it just by being there. There you go. So, that's a weird one about, like, life choices. Great. You can see where you can see how it might have turned out, and that's fine. You're observing it. But you can't interact with it, because you'll immediately change it.
Well, that's what was happening, wasn't it?
It's like, it's like having the perfect snowflake and then finding the second one. You're sort of like, I can see them, but as soon as I pick it up to prove it to anyone, one of them will melt. So you fucked it up. You can't touch them. Yay. There you go. Snowflake analogy without. God knows where I came out with that one.
I like to think that there's an Amir walking around just picking up glow sticks. And there's one with 2 in his pockets, and then there's another Amir with 3 in his pockets, and 4 in his pockets. And ultimately, there's an Amir walking around going, I can't put any more glow sticks in my pockets.
Exactly. And then there's another one where they open up the glow sticks and they try and shake them, and because they've been stuck in a cupboard for 6 months or whatever, they're just completely dead and don't glow at all.
Yep.
And then in which case there's a universe where they did it on the blue box and they didn't glow at all. Yeah. And they did it on the red box and it didn't glow at all. And then there's another one where they did it on the 2 boxes and they didn't glow at all and went for the green one.
And one where M wakes up and dead M is still in the bath.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh, how do I explain this?
Exactly. And then there's another one what's it? Old Highlander, the Raven lady, didn't put ketamine in that vial. In fact, that's the next thing. She said she put a whisper in there. Now, in one universe, a whisper might be a drop, but in another universe, a whisper might be a teaspoon. You know, it's open to interpretation, that measure. So already, just by even opening that vial, or even having that vial, you've created how many centiliters is in that vial? And every single one of them could be ketamine, or it could be pomegranate. So straight away, you got an infinite variation just by having that vial. And now, for the final, we're going to have some feedback from Professor Brian Cox. But yeah, I mean, the bit I liked, I tell you, the bit I actually liked a lot was the bit when she sat down and she was looking at the dice numbers, and it was a really subtle thing where she realizes she's in the wrong house, and it's that moment where she looks at the dice numbers, and it's not even the numbers were wrong; it's the fact that she had the pen in her hand. She goes, "Well, maybe we should use a different color than this red pen." You're like, right, okay. And then they say, right, okay, so what did we write down last time? And she flicks over the page, and all the numbers are written in green.
Yeah. And we hadn't seen green at that point either, had we?
No. And green's one of those colours that just pops out. Your eye's designed to pick up green. It's bizarrely. It's just the way that your evolution's worked. And so you sort of like, you see it, and you're like, ooh, hang on. I thought that she was in the right house and everyone else has been changing, but actually, no, she's in the wrong house. And then it's suddenly like, okay, now shit's got fucked because I lost the plot. I lost where she was, who she's with. And in fact, just by her going to the car, maybe we've changed everything. And that's when I started to click, 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 click. Okay, everything's changing every time someone loses sight of everyone else, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. You also have that. Oh, I thought it was a bit clunky when the lady went to bed. I know she got drugged and had like a heavy sleep, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, how can you sleep through this time at the moment?" But that was used quite well because she had to find or show them the box in which to put all their stuff in.
But that was a totally different universe. Because she was awake when they left. And then when she came back from the car, and Lee was in bed and having a sleep.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you've come back to the wrong house. She's been asleep for ages.
I suppose, yeah. There is one where she sleeps and one where someone else... Yeah, they say it, don't they? They actually say it.
Yeah. As soon as she came back to the house and was like, oh, where's Lee? And it's like, oh, she's asleep. It's like, really? What the fuck happened there?
There's one where they're all naked and just having a massive party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Welcome to Planet Pornhub. Yeah. I think I shall stay.
There's quite a lot of Kevin's pushing his face up against the window in this one.
Oh dear. So there you go. Anything else? Anyone got anything else to add to this? I mean, I would just like to say that I did enjoy it for the puzzle element and the finale. I enjoyed it a lot, and I thought the acting got better once everyone was kind of actually on a script. But,
yeah.
But for the love of God, anyone who wants to try that again, just I know actors can improv, but give them some fucking opening lines. Don't just give them a card, for God's sakes, because it just comes across as random when everyone's trying to just rush their fucking dialogue out.
Yeah.
It's like, and my brother, he's a quantum physicist. He was saying all about this comet, and it's like everyone's like halfway through the pudding going, did you see what was on telly? My brother's a quantum physicist. What? Hang on. Do you want to go home early? Is this murder party boring you? Anyway, sorry. Does anybody have anything else they want to add or anything they want to throw in?
No.
I was going to say, or have I dropped into a universe where I'm the only one talking on this microphone? Okay, cool. Well, no worries then. In which case, we shall wrap it up there. I think Coherence is worth a look, even if you have got this far and you didn't want to spoil it, but you have spoiled it for yourself now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just be thankful I didn't start with Primer.
Well, to be quite honest, I was thinking it's a Primer dinner party. I think someone else mentioned it on the Facebook group, said something similar, that it's like Primer dinner party. And I'm like, yeah. It's a lot easier to follow than Primer.
Well, I know we're going back into it, but this has, if you glance over and watch this and just casually watch this movie, you can have fun with it. But you get a lot more out of it if you dive deep into it and really concentrate on what's going on the second and third views. But you can watch it as a standalone Sunday evening. Oh, look, it's multi-dimensional, brilliant. Just have a bit of fun with it. But with Primer, no. That is, you sit down with a notepad in that fucker, because you're going to need a notepad and a change of tires as well.
Yeah, I still am not entirely convinced that isn't complete and utter bollocks, that film. But every time I've watched it, I've thought I get it this time, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, no, I don't get it.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I think maybe we'll do that when we've got, I don't know, about 6 hours. Maybe if we ever do a live cast again, we'll do a live watch along with it. Try and point out as it goes.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Just like, what the fuck is happening? Why is he building a shed? Why does he need oxygen masks? What the hell? I don't understand. Why is his tie blue now? Fuck it. Anyway, Jim, do you have anything last thoughts before we wrap it?
No, I'll leave it before we go back round the loop again.
Nice. Of course, the fact that we haven't spoken to you for a few minutes means that you could be a Jim from a completely different universe now.
You could.
Yeah. Okay. If I say double ender, do you say
euphemism?
There you go. Thank you very much. In which case, you are the same Jim. Right. One last thing, we did have on the Facebook chat. What would you put in your identifier box? Do we want to share that with anyone? What would you have in your identifier box, Dal?
What would I? What would I have in my identifier?
See the words "double ender" just floating across in the ether again.
Yeah, I was going to say
double ender.
Euphemism. Just Jim's just taking a wind up. Here we go.
I think can we have more than one thing in there?
As long as
it's just one thing.
Euphemism.
I think I'd want to fuck with people, so I'd have a slice of bread wrapped around a monkey wrench. What the fuck? What?
Okay.
What's that?
Nice. Okay. And Elton, what would you have in there?
I would have a little lockbox, like the lockbox that you have Just tiny, smaller one, like Russian dolls all the way down.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And Jim?
A Kit Kat in case I got peckish.
And each time you open the box, there's one more mouth mark, sort of bite mark taken out of it.
One finger taken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I think I'd probably put in there. I'd put in there a note saying, "This isn't the box you're looking for," just to fuck with people. So it's like, it isn't. I'm in the wrong house? Yeah, I just have a note saying you're in the wrong house.
Or just a note saying, "Please come and get me. I'm all alone." Signed, Kevin McAllister.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Right. And on that note, I think we shall wrap it up. Okay, so that was Coherence. Did you watch it? What would you have in the box? Oh, bollocks. That is one thing I did ask on the Facebook group if anyone would have it in the box. And Peter Organ said that he'd have a copy of Star Trek V in the box.
Of course he would.
Of course he would. But then, as I said, it would be impossible to work out what universe he was in, because every single one of them would have fucking Star Trek V in. So, it'd be impossible to figure out where he was. Whereas Martin Thompson said he'd have a robot Goofy, which, as unique items go, I think that's unique.
That would work.
Yeah, robot Goofy. Yeah, anyway. There you go. So, right. Definitely wrapping it up now. And we shall see what is next week's film. So, Jim, over to you, sir. What is next week's film?
Well, I thought it'd be fun to do the movie that I thought Elton was picking last week.
Okay.
So it's G.I. Joe. No, only kidding.
The collective black dog.
I got excited.
Go on.
There seemed to be a rash of sort of films with like ends titled. There was Divergence, Transference, Convergence,
Incoherence.
I know, and I'd seen a film with that sort of a title, and it was a bit time traveling. I thought, is that what that was called? And I looked at it. No, it wasn't. But that film, I thought we should do that this week.
Go on.
And it is a Predestination.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one, is it?
Yes.
I thought Elton would like that.
Predestination.
On Amazon Prime.
Oh, wow. Okay. Blimey, hold on. Let me Google this one up. Predestination.
Ethan Hawke.
Yes.
Ethan Hawke. Okay, Predestination. Ethan Hawke. Well, Ethan Hawke's got a rep on this cast. We have done Sinister, and we have done what was it, Gattaca? So he hasn't done us wrong so far.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. No, okay, so it says here, for his final assignment, a temporal agent must pursue one criminal that eluded him throughout time. Interesting.
If you've not seen it, don't read too much about it. Just go in.
No,
I watched it on a recommendation from a friend saying, "Watch this." He said, "Don't look anything up. Just stick it on."
Okay.
And I did, and I thought, and I really dug it. So
okay,
fun to go back to, I think.
Okay. Well, I literally have no idea about this at all. So, right, okie dokie. So that's Ethan Hawke, Predestination. There you go. Darren, have you seen this film?
Never.
You even heard of it? Because I haven't.
I think I have.
Okay, fair enough. And Elton, I guess we know from your reaction what you think of it.
I've seen it. I own it. I like it.
He's seen it. He owns it. Blimey. Hang on. This is getting a bit serious. And Jim, yeah, you've seen it and you found it interesting. Cool. Well, yeah. So for me and Darren, it's The Mystery Monocle next week.
It's based on a Robert Heinlein short story as well.
Ooh, that's good.
So added sci-fi points.
Oh, that's giving it a bit more pointage. Cool. Okay, well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So that's Jim's choice for next week on Amazon Prime, Predestination. If you have any feedback for this week's episode of with Coherence, then by all means send it through to us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/groups/blackdogpodcast. Send it to us via email, which is feedback@blackdogpodcast, or even leave it on our group, leave it on our webpage, which is blackdogpodcast.com. So, brilliant. Well, that's it. We'll just see what's happening elsewhere on the outside of the Black Dog sphere. Jim, what's going on in Hypnagoria this week?
This week, I've just dropped an episode on old BBC special effects records, the infamous Sounds of Death and Horror. And this week, trying to get it finished, it'll be another chapter of The Mysteries of the Mummy, looking at mummy movies in the 1960s, which is mainly Hammer, but also some dodgy Mexican ones.
Well, of course. Where would we be without a dodgy Mexican horror film?
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And Elton, what about you, sir?
I will be dropping an episode next Monday on the Shonky Lab called Under the Sea.
Okay.
So hopefully everyone's looking forward to that.
Okay.
Obviously doing the Grand Prix podcast, and as we have been speaking, and I just uploaded the part 4 of making a model car on my YouTube channel, which is Tail Gunner Models, and I'm rapidly finding out what Jim does when he ends up doing like a 12-parter on his shows. It's very easy to end up. I think it's going to be about 37 parts of me making a model.
Wow. Okay. Well, fair enough. So, well, that's good news, I guess, for you.
I
guess. Hey, everyone needs a hobby.
Mm-hmm. I thought we were doing that. Hang on.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah. Okay. And Darren, are you appearing anywhere?
I appear to be swearing lots of video games for the next week, as I have been this week.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's me.
Okay.
Oh,
fair enough.
I'm birthdaying it. That's what
you're birthdaying it. Yes.
You're
birthdaying it. I'm anniversarying it. So
there you are.
There you go. Cool. Okay. Well, in which case, you can find my artwork, which hopefully will be coming out daily again on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page, and occasionally, if there's any that's actually good enough, I'll stick it on my ArtStation page. All of them can be found at Cartoon Beardy. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton. Thank you. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe as ever, and we shall see you all next week for Predestination. So until then, take care, and we'll see you all next time. Till then, tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.